What's going on? This is David Williams, also known as Diamond Dave, the founder of the highest paid part-time job in the world options trading program. And what we're going to do is we're going to drop something in the Laws of Game series. And what we're going to talk about is something that's more localized, but I really believe that if you listen to it, you can get a lot of value from it based on where you're particularly living, because some of the lessons that we're going to talk about and some of the perspectives can apply to you in your basic area, because essentially every area is the same. Every hood is pretty much the same. It's just different people acting out different scenarios. So the topic of this particular audio, this presentation, is going to be, will Orlando rappers destroy the rap music scene in Orlando? And we want to put a question mark on that, because we're not trying to spread the negativity, but we're trying to ask the question, because there's a lot going on in the rap music scene in the city of Orlando. And we want to ask ourselves, well, what is going to be the end result of this behavior? So the people that are engaged in this activity, the question you want to ask yourself is, what do you want the end result to be? When this all concludes and when this is all over with, what result are you looking to get out of that? Because if you're just caught up in something, but you don't know what result you're looking to get out of it, the end result, right, can be something that's not intended by you, that you may not be satisfied with. But see, you didn't think about the end result before you started getting engaged in the activity. Now, I want you to understand something. This is not some DJ academics. There's a lot of YouTube content, a lot of people trying to piggyback off what's going on in Orlando. They trying to do their little DJ academics thing. I'm not into none of that, right? Difference between me and DJ academics is I'm really from the city that I'm talking about. So I'm really from West Orlando, right? I'm one of the people, and I'm part of that age group of people where we made West Orlando what it is, right? We put West Orlando on the map. And it ain't just about West Orlando. It's also about West Orange County, because a lot of people be yelling out West Orlando, and really they from West Orange County. They're not from the city of Orlando. I'm from the city of Orlando. I'm from a neighborhood in the actual city of Orlando, right? So it ain't just about West Orlando, West Orange County. Also, big up the South Orlando. You know what I'm saying? I used to be in that Texas Americana area. I used to be in Timberskin. You feel me? So I know about Nashville. You feel me? So it's not just about West Orlando. Really, it's about West Orlando, South Orlando, West Orange County. So I'm from a neighborhood in West Orlando. If you want to know where I'm from, when you see me, ask me where I'm from, and I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to ask you where you from. You feel me? And don't be yelling out some silly shit like Winter Haven. You understand me? Then I moved to Pine Hills. I lived on Chopper Hill right off of Hastings. Then I moved to off North Lane. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Graduated from Jones High alumni. So I'm really out that West though. You feel me? I could take you back to the day, man, where it was the Goodwill, the 7-Day Adventist Goodwill off Westmoreland, when you had the McNamara Pontiac on the corner of 441 and West Colonial with the Wendy's across the street. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? I was in Orlando before they had the Orlando Arena, when it wasn't no Orlando Magic. I'm really from Orlando. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? So this ain't some DJ academics where I'm just trying to get some clout off piggybacking off what these dudes doing. Because the issue is that these youngsters, and a part of being young is you think what you doing is new. And what you got to understand is as you get older and you get more seasoned, you understand that you just the latest edition of something that's already going on. And if we as older people have already made certain mistakes, we doing a disservice to the young by not telling them that we done already made a mistake that y'all currently making. So why y'all want to make the same mistake we made? Because the mistake didn't benefit us, why we want y'all to get involved into it. So what we got right now is that we got a lot of rappers from the west side of the city, right? They doing what they doing. They trying to get their little music situation going. But they involved in these little internal factionalized beefs with each other, right? And it's turning into negative situations. We don't want to put everything out there because people still got court cases going on the whole 9 yards. But it's turning into a lot of negative situations, right? And it's not going to be beneficial to them long term. And one of the reasons why they getting caught up in this is because they don't have people around them that's really lacing them with real game. They don't have the seasoning of themselves because they haven't lived long enough to really have been around the block a few times to understand where this thing is going. And they're going to put themselves in a lot of negative situations that's not going to be beneficial to them. And I don't think they really thought about what is the end result going to be. And as long as they keep going to social media and keep letting people on social media gas them up for attention, right? They going to think that they doing the right thing because they getting the attention they desire, without realizing is that once you crash from what you're doing, These people on social media that's giving you attention, they're going to go to the next situation that they can feed to see, can they get those people to crash? You like a puppet to these people, right? They pulling your strings and you don't even know it. So let me give you some history of this city so you can kind of understand from a music standpoint, from an entertainment standpoint, what's really going on, so you can get some context. Because what you got to understand is this: people think time is linear. Other people think time ain't nothing but a circle. So what's happened one time will happen again, and it happened again, and it happened again, and it keep happening. So once you understand that you may be on a circle, you can kind of understand what role you playing in this and whether or not you want to continue to play that role. So we go back to the 90s of Orlando, right? We just take the mid 90s. What a lot of people don't know is that Orlando at one time was the rave capital, right? Really, of the United States. And I know a lot of y'all gonna be listening, talking about rave, what he talking about. I don't want to listen to this. But see, you need to understand business. You got to understand business. You trying to make it in a rap game, you got to understand business. It's bigger than just being a rapper, right? Orlando at one time was the rave capital of the United States. Bigger than New York, bigger than LA, bigger than Miami. It was Orlando. We had rave DJs coming from all over the world, taking flights to play clubs in Orlando. Orlando was pulling people from all over Florida to come to Orlando to go to raves. Now, these raves was getting let out 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. I used to work at a restaurant back in the day, and I had to open up the restaurant because we had a breakfast, right? So I would be going down Orange Avenue, going towards the restaurant, going south on Orange to go to the restaurant, and I would cut through downtown. You feel me? So I would take Church to Orange to make that right. So everybody from Orlando know what I'm talking about. Take Church Street, you feel me, to Orange, go east on Church Street to Orange, bust that right to go south. And I would see people right on the streets that had came out of that rave. And this was like 6 o'clock in the morning. They would be filing out of there because it was finally letting out. What happened was, behind the scenes, the people that controlled Orlando, the people that's real big in tourism, Disney World, they decided they didn't want that look for Orlando. They didn't want Orlando to be the rave capital of the United States because what people felt was associated with that scene, which was a lot of drugs. So what they did was they used the media, used Orlando Sentinel, right? Used radio to hype up that people was overdosing on heroin at these raves. And they used that to build up a media campaign against these raves. And then they now created this law to where, you know what? All clubs in Orlando got to close at 2 o'clock. So they said that these raves are really clubs, even though they wasn't serving alcohol, and said, well, y'all got to close up at 2. So that's how they got rid of the rave, because you can't have no rave closing at 2 o'clock. Rave's supposed to go all night long. So that's how they got rid of the rave scene, and they pushed everything to Disney, like Pleasure Island, and let Disney manage that type of entertainment venue. Because they didn't like the fact that you had in Orlando an organic rave scene that was growing, that wasn't really being controlled by the power brokers of this particular city. And the power brokers of Orlando is the tourism people, right? They really control the city, and things go in this city the way they want them to go. And I want you to understand that point, because that's going to add into what we're talking about later. Second big music thing that happened in this city in the early 2000s was Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. Now, a lot of people don't know they Orlando based, right? I think NSYNC sold 70 million records. So you got people in Orlando that's trying to make it in music, don't understand that this city already got a history of putting out major acts. NSYNC sold 70 million records. I think Backstreet Boys might have sold more than that. Ain't no telling what they doing streaming. But back when people was pushing physical, they got 70 million people to leave their house and go buy their record. That's a lot of people. So if you is trying to come up in a rap game and you still trying to get your legs up under you, you need to peep what has worked for people before you came in. I don't care what genre of music they in, right? NSYNC, Boys to Men, not Boys to Men, Backstreet Boys. These is Orlando-based groups. Them dudes are all from Orlando, but they was being put out by a guy named Lou Pearlman, who was based in Orlando. So at one time, Orlando was one of the pop capitals of the whole world because they had the two biggest groups in pop based out of Orlando. Then they added on another rap group called Smiles and Soft Star, right? Where they was they was getting played nationally. They charted, right, as a rap group. They wasn't doing hardcore rap music. They was doing kind of like vanilla rap because that fit within that record label. So, the guy couldn't put out a hardcore rap act because it didn't fit with the other pop groups that he was putting out, right? Low key, Britney Spears at one time was putting music out from this particular city. So Orlando got a long history, right? And a big history of putting out really, really successful pop acts. But you got to understand something. The people that control Orlando want a certain representation and a certain face on the city. We all know it's not true. We know they suppress the crime numbers. We know they suppress the murder rates. They suppress those things to the media. So when somebody Google Orlando, they don't get a bad representation. Why? Because they're trying to do what's good for business. So you got to look at things from a business standpoint. This is about business at the end of the day, right? And rap music and music don't bring in more money to the city than tourism. So why are you going to kill the golden goose? And I want you to understand that. Why are you going to kill the golden goose for something that ain't going to replace the money? So the people that control Orlando, what they want is a good look on this city so we can continue to drive more tourism dollars. Only place in the whole country got more hotels than Orlando is Vegas. Orlando got more hotels than New York City. I'm talking about Metro Orlando. Got more hotels in New York, got more hotels in Chicago, got more hotels in LA, right? Them people need to have that stuff occupied. They can't have that if it's a bad look on the city. It's not going to work. So you got to really, put your business mind on and start thinking from a mob mentality, right? And understand that when things is bad for business, they cannot be allowed to continue. And a bunch of dudes in West Orlando, right, that are doing things that are going to be bad for business is not going to be allowed to continue. Now we're going to talk about solutions because we already went into the problem. We already understand that the people that are controlling Orlando, what they want tourism dollars to keep spinning. Why? Because that's their business. And they're not going to allow something that's bad for business to continue. What is going to be the solution? For you to be about your business. All this other stuff that ain't got something to go on with business, it got to go. You having this if it ain't got to do with the business of music, it got to go. Right? Because it becomes detrimental to people that are bigger than you. And if it becomes detrimental to their business, they're going to get rid of you. Right? You're not thinking with the right kind of mentality. Right? The game is bigger than West Orlando and what's going on in these neighborhoods. So much, much bigger game being played out. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? And you'll never make it to being a shark if you get eaten up while you're still a minnow. You'll never get to that level. Because what you're going to do is you're going to draw so much attention to yourself, them big sharks going to come out of nowhere. They're going to eat you up, and that's going to be the end of your ass. So you need to start figuring out how can you be about your business and how can you associate with people that's about their business and then build up some business, right, that makes sense to where people now want to partner with you and deal with you. But if all you're doing is getting attention for the wrong thing and it ain't about no business at the end of the day, it's not going to work. This city is not Atlanta. This ain't LA. This ain't New York. It's built on a different dynamic. And they're not going to let you destroy what's bringing in billions of dollars for them, right? To do something that ain't even making $1 million for y'all. That's not going to work. It don't work that way. And I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't destroy $1 billion to make $1 million. I wouldn't do it. So if the people that's making $1 million is going to destroy my $1 billion, I'm going to get rid of y'all. Because that's what makes sense when it comes down to business. So you want to ask yourself, if you're trying to, do something in this Orlando rap scene, there's a lot of attention being given to Orlando right now. And a lot of people have worked very, very hard, right, to get Orlando in this particular position. But if a lot of y'all rappers, man, don't really get laced with some game and really get around some people, man, that can really put y'all in the proper perspective, right? Two things going to happen. This situation going to pass y'all by and y'all going to be starting back from square one again. Or them big sharks going to come up and they're going to just get y'all up out of here because they're not going to let y'all destroy, right, what has been going on in this city and generating money for people for going on 50, 60, 70 years for what y'all got going on here in West Orlando, right? You got to really understand that. So don't let these people on the internet hype you up. Don't let these people on social media hype you up and make you think that there's something going on that it's not. They can't help you when you get in trouble. They're not going to be there for you. Get about your business. Understand where you're trying to go business-wise and focus on things that's going to generate business for you and put you and your people in a better position financially. All the rest of that stuff, man, leave that alone because it ain't going to add up to nothing at the end of the day. If you got value from this, share it out. If you want to hit me up in the comments, hit me up in the comments. This is David W. Williams, also known as Diamond Dave, and I'll talk to you later.